GF is helping her BFF commit paternity fraud and screamed at me for telling the boyfriend says I'm punishing women for being loyal to each other. It got worse. +2 UP dates. Update. Would I be the a-hole for exposing my girlfriend's best friend's paternity scheme? Original post. I, 26 male, have been with my girlfriend, Becca, 25 female, for just over a year now. Becca and her best friend, Cindy, 25 female, are both also close friends with Mike, 30 male, whom they met in their first year of college. Something about Mike has always rubbed me the wrong way. He's polite enough, but I find he's too handsy with the girls. I brought it up to Becca, who says Mike is like a protective big brother to them. Since Mike has been Becca's friend since she was 18, her family loves him and invites him to family gatherings. That's why I keep quiet since he's clearly important to Becca. At Becca's sister, Bianca's engagement party of course, Mike was there. While Becca was talking to Bianca, I went outside for some air. It was cold out, so there were only 2 people vaping. At the side of the house, I saw Mike and Cindy making out beside an in-ground solar light. I pulled out my phone and recorded 23 seconds of their makeout session before going back inside. On a car ride back, I told Becca that someone told me they saw Mike and Cindy kissing outside. She panicked and asked if I had told Stan what I was told. I said no, and she was relieved. I asked, "You're not surprised?" She said, "Of course not." Mike and Cindy have been off and on for years. My mind reeled since Cindy had only been with Stan for 8 months. Becca said Mike understands Cindy in a way that Stan doesn't and that she covers for Cindy and Mike because Stan sometimes gets suspicious, which is annoying. I lost some respect for Becca then. 2 weeks later, I'm at Becca's place and Cindy calls her. She answers the call in speaker and Cindy announces that she's pregnant. Becca squeals, takes the phone off speaker and puts it to her ear. From my side, I gathered that Cindy was sure the baby was Mike's, but she plans to pass it off as Stan's. When Becca ended a call, I asked her why Cindy would like to Stan about fathering a baby. Becca said that Mike makes more money than Stan. Side note, Mike owns 3 gyms and has a personal training business. Becca then says Mike wants a kid but doesn't want any responsibilities or to deal with baby mama drama. So since Cindy and Stan will probably get married anyway, this made sense for everyone. I was horrified and told Becca that she's just as bad as Cindy for covering this up. We got into a fight, and I left. Later, Becca calls and tells me that I'm being foolish for letting other people's drama affect our relationship. I thought we share the same values, but the fact that she's fine with lying about paternity sets off alarm bells. I don't see a future, but I don't know if breaking up over other people's drama is the right thing to do. And I feel for Stan, who doesn't deserve any of this. I feel too guilty not doing anything. So would I be the a-hole if I somehow anonymously sent the video of Mike and Cindy making out to Stan? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Sent it. Also, I'd be suspicious of Becca. If she has no problem lying about this, who even knows what she could be doing to you? That thought has been running through my head for nearly 3 weeks. If your girlfriend covers for Cindy when she cheats, then Cindy definitely covers for your girlfriend when she cheats. Send the video to Stan and call it a night. You're doing the right thing, not the a-hole. Thanks. That seems to be the thought on here. I'm glad it's not just a thought in my head to question if Becca has been faithful. You would not be the a-hole. However, I think the bigger issue here for you is that your girlfriend has no morals, my man. If she thinks it's acceptable behavior for her friend, she thinks it's acceptable behavior for her. Read that again. I would not trust her at all. Cut ties with her, then meet Stan for lunch and show him the video and explain how Cindy is trying to effectively ruin this poor dude's life with Becca's help. Stan doesn't deserve this nonsense. You'd be the a-hole if you kept it to yourself. Thanks, that's what I thought too. It just sucks to be with someone for over a year and learn you don't really know them. You have your moral principles and you stick to them. That's a good thing. Yes, end a relationship not because of other people's drama but because your girlfriend is deceitful and truthful, which is fundamentally incompatible with your values. Truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtues, not the a-hole. Inaction is a choice too. And by not taking a stand against injustice, you would be betraying your own principles. The golden rule is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you were a Stan, wouldn't you want someone to let you know? Thanks. Yes, I would want to know. I guess I needed outside opinions to confirm what I already knew and felt. Now for the first update. Yesterday, I posted about my girlfriend Becca's best friend Cindy's plan to light a stand, Cindy's boyfriend, about being the father of her unborn child, and about Becca's role in going along with the plan and covering for Cindy. After reading the comments, I decided that the best thing was to confront Becca and tell her that either Cindy tells me the truth or I will. Since today was Becca's day off work, I went to her apartment on my lunch break. Cindy was there, so I was able to tell Cindy directly. All hell broke loose. Cindy was scream-crying and Becca was just screaming and defending her friend. They both accused me and all men of being hypocrites since we have bro codes, but we punish women for loyalty. I left mid-screams. Later at work, I was called to go down to the lobby because an irate man wanted to see me. It was Mike, Cindy's off-and-on lover/friend, who is the real father of her unborn child. As soon as he saw me, Mike started yelling that I was a gossipy bee for meddling in other people's lives and that what he, Cindy, and Becca do is none of my business. He was escorted out and banned from the building by security. I barely got through work after that. I replayed what he said over and over. What me, Cindy, and Becca do? What? Was he sleeping with both Becca and Cindy, separately or at the same time? Could they be some kind of throuple? I went down a rabbit hole and looked him up on social media, which wasn't hard since Becca tagged him in every picture. Turns out, Mike is not 30 but 35 years old. That means he was 28 when he met Becca and Cindy at 18 years old. Could he have manipulated his way into their lives? Into their pants? Could he still be manipulating them now years later? When I got home, I got a call from a strange number, but I didn't answer. Then that same number started sending me a bunch of texts. It was Dan saying that just because I have outdated beliefs, it was no excuse to slut-shame his pregnant girlfriend. He's talking about my outdated belief that there would be nothing special about my wedding night if I have unprotected sex before marriage. So I always use protection. I figured Becca told Cindy since they share everything. And for our 1-year anniversary, Becca said we should stop using condoms since she was on birth control, but I refused. Stan was texting insults nonstop, so I sent him the video of Mike and Cindy making out. He finally took a 4-minute text break before texting that was at Bianca's party. Stan was there and probably remembered their outfits. I texted back yes, then a thing for 17 minutes before he texted, thanks. 30 minutes later, Becca started blowing up my phone. I turned it off, but I can hear alerts from my Apple Watch. I'm still reeling from what Mike said and plan to confront Becca about it. But in the meantime, I'm so mad I want to punch something. I'm so hurt. I want to scream. I plan to take tomorrow off work to deal. Thanks to all who offered advice. If requested, I'll update when I calm down and talk to Becca tomorrow. Don't bother confronting Becca. Just tell her you're done. She already revealed her character. She was eager to help her friend to pass off some 35-year-old predator's child as her boyfriend's. Becca was about to do the same with you. That's why she wanted to have unprotected sex with you. That is bottom of the barrel poor character, and you must get that kind of filth out of your life immediately. Not the a-hole. Oh, and consider a restraining order on Mike. He is the predator and he is angry at you. He already made a scene. I would not put violence past him. Seriously, don't go near her again. Just break up via text and block all of them on everything. She's definitely been cheating on you with Mike. Lol, your girlfriend was gonna come at you with a positive pregnancy test next. Let that creep raise his own kids. Let's not forget, Mike owns gyms and is a personal trainer. Anyone wants odds that dude is banging at least 20% of his female clients? I doubt Becca and Cindy care. They get to bang him, have kids, then pass them off to the poor schmuck they are involved with, or at least that sounds like it was the plan. He keeps a harem, and they make someone else raise his kids. I would just send Becca a text that says, "It seems my outdated belief saved me from raising Mike's baby. I hope you have the life you deserve." Then lock her. Second update. I didn't know my first post would blow up like this, or my first update about my now ex-girlfriend Becca's best friend Cindy's paternity scheme. But here's the update. Since Becca told me off yesterday, I had turned my phone off and was ignoring all calls and texts. But from my Apple Watch, I could see notifications. This morning, I turned my phone on to respond to a text from Stan. I called him and he apologized for his blow-up yesterday. He thanked me for sending him the video of Cindy cheating and said he wanted to know everything I knew. After I told him, he said it already dumped Cindy. But now he wants a prenatal paternity test. I didn't even know you could do that. If the baby is his, then he will support his child. But until the test, he wants nothing to do with Cindy. I also returned a call from work and was told the man from yesterday, Mike, was pacing in front of the building earlier this morning, but security must have spooked him because he left before the cops were called. Without checking her messages, I drove to Becca's and called her from outside, saying we need to talk. She agreed. I waited in my car forever before going to her apartment. When Becca opened the door, she practically jumped into my arms. She started saying she was sorry she yelled at me and that it was just her gut reaction to defend her best friend. But she doesn't want to lose me over Cindy's drama. I practically peeled her off of me and sat on a couch. I think I was just stalling when I first asked her what the original plan was for Cindy's baby. How would it benefit Mike to have Stan raise his kid if he himself wanted a child so badly? She said that Mike didn't want the full-time responsibility of a kid. So this way, he would get to be the godfather who spoiled the baby, and he would even pay for the kid's college later on. Then she said, but that's no longer the plan since Stan knows everything. But she quickly added, "Not that I blame you for that." She then said that now everything's out in the open, she wants us to get back to normal. I nearly choked at normal. I got to it and asked her straight up, "Are you sleeping with Mike?" She looked hurt that I asked that and said, "No, of course not." I then asked, "Were you ever sleeping with him?" She looked away. It was a gut punch. I just stood up and left. She let me leave, but she started blowing up my phone as soon as I drove off. She called nonstop and left several voice and text messages. In one, she said that her hookups with Cindy and Mike are done for good now, and I'm her future. So that's one question asked and answered. In another message, she said she wants us to move forward and thinks we should try couples counseling. I no longer trust her, but I still love her. But I also know that counseling can't rebuild trust. So it's definitely over between us. I finally blocked her and everything and might get a restraining order on Mike. The only good thing is at least now Stan knows the whole truth. So thank you, Reddit, for your comments telling me to do the right thing. Staying with Becca and attempting to salvage this train wreck of a relationship would be the biggest mistake you can make in your life. Run the heck away from her and never speak to her again. You seem to be considering staying with her after this, and that would be freaking insane. I completely agree. This isn't just a minor issue you can brush off. It's a glaring sign of toxicity and a lack of respect. Staying with someone who's shown you they're capable of this kind of behavior will only lead to more heartache. Cut your losses now. Prioritize your own well-being and move on. You deserve way better than this mess. If there was ever a situation where a couple's counseling would not work, it is this one. Becca has gone way too far with this. At her adding in all of this stuff about her, Cindy and Mike just seal the deal. Good on you for being honest with Stan because he needed at least one person in his life to tell him the truth. You saved that man from at least some of the drama by giving him the background that he didn't have. Now that he knows all of the information, he is able to make an informed decision about where to go from here. And please do get the restraining order against Mike. There is something truly wrong with that man. He confronted you at your office, was kicked out by security, and then came back again to pay us outside your office? That's great stalker material right there. Honestly, the three of them deserve each other, and you can just let the trash take itself out. I feel like, professionally, he has to get that restraining order now, just in case this drama is held against him in some way at work. I agree. With the way Mike acted, OP definitely has to get something on record to show he tried to prevent it from happening again. Depending on the type of office, customers and even employees may not feel comfortable coming in if they see something like Mike acting a fool and his behavior gets around. Last story. Am I the a-hole for asking my boyfriend to choose between me and his work wife after catching them joking about our sex life? I, 29 female, have been with my boyfriend, Chris, 31 male, for 5 years. He's amazing in so many ways, funny, kind, and super supportive. But there's this one thing that's been bothering me for a while now. His work wife, Jess, 30 female. Chris works in a close-knit office, and Jess has been his co-worker and friend for years. At first, I wasn't bothered. I mean, I get it. Work friendships are a thing, and it's normal to be close to people you spend so much time with. But over the years, their relationship has started to make me feel off. For starters, they text all the time, and not just during work hours. She'll message him at night, on weekends, even during our date nights. A lot of the time, it's about work. But not always. Sometimes it's random memes or inside jokes that I don't get. When we go to events with his coworkers, Jess is always by his side, laughing at his jokes and acting like she knows him better than anyone. One time, she introduced herself to me as his work wife. Everyone laughed, so I laughed too. But honestly, it stung a little. Chris brushed it off when I brought it up later, saying it's just a joke and I'm being silly. Then last weekend, things hit a breaking point. We were at a party with his coworkers, and I overheard Jess and Chris talking in the kitchen. Jess made some joke about how Chris must be exhausted because I keep him up all night. Chris laughed and said something like, "Yeah, she's got a lot of energy," and they both cracked up. I just stood there frozen. They were joking about our sex life in front of their coworkers. It felt so disrespectful and humiliating. When I confronted Chris about it later, he admitted the joke was in bad taste but said I was blowing it out of proportion. I called it harmless banter and swore there was nothing to it. I told him I was done playing cool about Jess and that he needed to set some boundaries with her or I was out. That's when he said I was being insecure and controlling. He insists there is nothing romantic between them and I'm just making drama over a friendship. Now, I'm torn. Some of my friends think I overreacted and that I shouldn't make him choose between me and Jess. Others say I'm totally justified, especially after that joke. So am I the a-hole for asking my boyfriend to set boundaries with his work wife or should I just let it go? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. 5 years and he wouldn't agree to some boundaries after joking about your intimate life to co-workers? I feel like him jumping to your insecure and controlling instead of looking at his friendship and evaluating if it's crossed some lines is a little telling. It doesn't sound like you ask him to cut her off. So his reaction makes me think that your intuition isn't wrong. Maybe you need to figure out what you are willing to tolerate in a relationship. I never ask him to cut her off as they've been friends for a long time. I just want him to set some boundaries because I don't want him talking about our intimate moments with her. There are things that should stay between the two of us, and he should not share them with anyone else. I don't think you should ask him to choose. He already made his choice by dismissing your concerns. Tell him you understand and don't want to be controlling. So you're making the choice for him that this isn't the type of relationship you want, and you're out. It is very hard as I love him and we have a good relationship, except with his issue with Jess. I just hope that he will understand my view and will set some strong rules with her. Otherwise, like you said, I will have no other option than breaking up with him.